Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we share headlines from our city, our state, and our country. We take a look at your questions, ideas, comments, and suggestions on how to have a more connected life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals, connected with each other, connected with Mexico, our culture, our country, our traditions. That's what we offer here. If this is something that you would enjoy, welcome. Today is Thursday, December the 8th, and we are going to have a very fun and interesting program. We have all kinds of interesting news to share today, and I want to bring you up to date with what's happening with our upcoming members-only giveaway. And I have some news from local eateries. Last night, I went and had a wonderful dinner at Noah's Cafe here in Versalles, and I want to tell you all about it. So there's going to be a little bit of everything. Oh, and yes, we're going to get a little frumpy. Or what is the latest word that ornery. Yes, there will be ornery action at some point. So hold on to your coffee, hold on to your seat. It'll be a fun ride. But before we go there, let me tell you what I usually tell you, which is if you are new to the broadcast, if you're watching live for the first time, it's great to have you. We'd love to give you a nice little welcome. We can do that if you write the word new in your comments, and we'll be happy to give you a nice little welcome. If you have something really important that you wish to share or that you wish for us to pay attention to, please add a capital letter Q, and we'll be happy to look at that. I wish I had a $100 bill for the number of people that called me ornery yesterday, and I take it as a compliment. What can I say? Here we go. Okay, so for starters, unless you're in the new, I doubt that you've heard of the Ameyalco project. This is an ambitious real estate development project that pretended to turn some 300 hectares of pristine mountain land in up in the mountains between Puerto Vallarta and El Jorullo into real estate development. The project had been floating around for several administrations, and its developers pretended to build 961 hotel rooms and 188 cabins in beautiful, beautiful mountainside, not far from our city. It's not a bad project, they say, but they pretended to build this in the heart of the mountain, billed as ecotourism, which it wasn't. And the good news is that the project has been canned, despite several attempts by the developers at local, state, and even federal level to make it stick through the paperwork and just slide into our reality just like that. But the good news is the project has been canned, and hopefully it will remain canned, at least for now. According to this news source, hotel occupancy in Puerto Vallarta is looking great at 80% at present time, Yahoo, and it is expected to increase to 100% by the end of the month. So if you are a tourist, and I know you're out there, and you're looking for places to stay, it may be a little late for you, but there might be some choices out there. I think it's great for the destination to be so busy, but if you're still trying to find a place to crash, it may be a little challenging. Furthermore, according to this other news source, we have already surpassed the 5.5 million passenger arrival mark here at Puerto Vallarta's International Airport, and the airport is expecting to welcome over 6 million passengers by the end of the year. This is an unprecedented number of annual passengers. We've never seen that many, of course. In recent months, new flights have been introduced, and it's no surprise that the number of arrivals is increasing. It's been quite a few years since someone came up with this notion that Puerto Vallarta is the friendliest city in the world. I actually think it began as a publicity campaign that unfortunately stuck. We may be friendly, but not always safe, as pointed by this photo of the guardrail directly behind the Puerto Vallarta letters on the Malecon. Kindly do not even think of leaning against what's left of it. That might not be a good idea. The word aviator is a dated word for what we usually refer to as an airline pilot or a pilot. But in local parlance, an aviador or aviadora is a person that collects a salary without showing up for work. In other words, this is a person that flies over the job but doesn't land to actually do the job. And according to this news item, Seapal, our favorite waterworks company, has one such worker, and she's mentioned by name in this article we're looking at. According to her direct supervisor, she works in different areas of the company. But when the reporter went asking in different areas of the company, who is this gal and where is she right now? Nobody had seen her, or nobody had seen her in a few days. So is she an aviadora or not? Well, we don't know. Does this affect us directly? Probably not. But when it comes to these types of situations, we want clarity. So, tómala. There you have it. And speaking of tómala, here is a little bit of information you may want to know if you are a tourist in Mexico from north of the border. I know Coffee and Headlines is for English-speaking locals, not for tourists, but I know there's at least a couple of you out there lurking, and this will be confirmed if the shoe fits and you write a nasty comment. Here are some things that you may want to know. Do Mexicans love your US dollars when you use them to pay in cash? Not necessarily. In fact, why not? Well, for starters, Mexican banks may change the dollars to pesos, but we cannot open accounts in US dollars here in Mexico. All our accounts as Mexican nationals are in Mexican pesos. And you might say, well, you can change the dollars into pesos. Well, guess what? Changing dollars into pesos takes time. Do you think a waiter wants to go and stand in line for exchanging your $5 tip? Think again. You think business owners want to hold on to the U.S. currency you pay with and then stand in line at the bank only to be able to exchange up to a certain amount a day and then have to go to another bank to exchange the rest? Definitely not. That may work for large companies like Costco or Walmart, where you can't pay dollars. And I'm sure they have minions hired whose only job description is to stand in line for hours at the teller to change your US dollars into Mexican pesos. And here's another thing you may not even have noticed because, you're coming from north of the border. Well, guess what? North of the border, they don't accept Mexican pesos in cash whenever you go to a restaurant or whenever you go pay your groceries. So think about this the next time if that you spend your dollars here. And think about this fabricated spell that makes you believe that we love your US dollars. There's a lot of English speaking folk out there going around saying, but Mexicans love US dollars. No, we don't. US dollars are convenient when we are about to travel to your country and we need some moolah to go shopping. But other than that, they are pretty much useless to us. So kindly consider this. If you're going to a small place and you're paying with US dollars, um, please think again. And of course, nobody is going to accept your coins. Nobody is going to accept your coins. Like if you leave a tip in quarters or things like that, it's not going to happen. So, tourists, please don't take this as shade, but tómala. Kindly change your money into Mexican pesos and then kindly pay with Mexican pesos while you're enjoying your hard earned vacation here in Puerto Vallarta and other parts of Mexico as well. Let's take a look at the weather. And what do we have here? Let's see. Who gives a fuck if the sun is out? There are dank memes on Reddit to browse. I've never been able to get into Reddit. It's a social media kind of thing. But I don't get Reddit. But it's irrelevant. What's relevant here is our weather, 26 degrees. And our humidity is finally a little lower, 68%. And our current temperature is Fahrenheit 79. And there you go. Our weather forecast is humid through the day with a high of 29 and a low of 21. Friday is humid, that's tomorrow, humid through the day with a high of 29 and a low of 20. And Saturday is humid through the day with a high of 28 and a low of 18. And I have to tell you, all this week I've had the worst case of what day is this disease. I've messed up at least 3 appointments because I thought it was the wrong day of the week. I don't know if it is the weather or the time of the year. I don't know what it is. Well, oh my goodness, juicy comments. Oh, it's going to be one of those fun days. I love it. Let me start with last night, because last night I had the pleasure of going to the Indian pop-up dinner at Noah's Cafe here in Colonia Versalles. You may recall that that a few weeks ago I mentioned that they had a pop-up dinner, and I was bummed out because I didn't hear about it. So I started following their page on Facebook, and that is when I found the opportunity to go, because I saw the latest one announced, and I went, and I want to tell you all about it because it was a great dinner. And in fact, I heard from the Indian chef. He calls himself Paco, which is his Mexican name, he says. He told me the whole story. But before I tell you the whole story, let me just say that if you hear about an upcoming Indian pop-up dinner at Noah's Cafe, don't even think about it. Just sign up and you're going to love it. What was offered was an Indian 3-course dinner with an entree, a main dish, and there were 3 main dishes to choose from, and a dessert. I think it was 500 and something pesos per person, drinks not included. It was a great deal. The food was wonderful. And of the 3 entrees, the 3 main courses that are offered, you have the choice of getting a little bit of each one of the 3 entrees, or you can get only one. I chose the butter chicken because I knew the moment I sat down that I wanted to go back and try some of the other offerings. And it was absolutely wonderful. The bad news is that I was totally on night off mode. I didn't take any photos of the food or anything, but we did have a chance to converse with the chef Paco, who told us the whole story behind this. As it turns out, one day, Todd from Lick's Ice Cream showed up with Chef Paco for a meal at the restaurant. Todd and Kathleen go to the restaurant frequently. They like it there. And they said to the owners, do you know of a place that my friend, the Indian chef, might be able to rent a restaurant so that he can offer Indian food. As we know, Noah's Cafe is open for breakfast and lunch, but not for dinner. So, long story short, Noah's came into this wonderful agreement of renting or working with the chef 1 day a month so that he could offer a dinner. So it is completely symbiotic. It is wonderful because the staff at Noah's doesn't mind getting a little bit of extra income and working late one night of the month. And it gives the chef the opportunity to offer a sit down dinner. I have learned from Chef Paco that he keeps quite busy at the different farmers markets around the Bay. He and his wife go to the different markets and offer their food there. But this is absolutely a wonderful sit down experience. I did take a photo of us enjoying the dinner, and we are looking at from left to right. That would be, I think her name is Valerie. I am not entirely sure, but she is the very nice lady owner at Noah's. And next to her is Barry, and next to Barry is his wife, Mijal, who's my dear friend. And then if you notice that Mijal and I are wearing the same necklace, it's because it was her birthday and we were celebrating her birthday, and that's what she got for her birthday present. Then next to me is the chef, Chef Paco, super nice, super friendly, spoke perfect English, and his food was absolutely wonderful. And of course, next to him is our dear Logan, who we all adore. Well, I adore Logan, and you know that. And for some reason, we started talking about a poster that I didn't go to the bathroom, but somebody that went to the bathroom said, well, there's a great poster in the bathroom. So I did take a photo of the poster in the bathroom, things to do on the toilet. So I took a photograph of this, and I'm going to use it as a to-do list so that I make sure that I have done all these things in the toilet. And if not, maybe this is what I'll do during the rest of the month. And where is that? There it is. Thank you. Let's see what else we have. Oh, yes. We have been recently talking about micheladas and all these monster vertical creations that some restaurants offer, where you get a beer and then it's got bloody something and vegetables and all that stuff. Well, I'd like to introduce you to the Miche Burger. Wow. This concoction needs some Dramamine because it's high. Well, Dramamine is not for fear of heights. It's for being dizzy. Anyhow, my dear friend, your dear friend, Paul from Hotel Mercurio, tells me that now on his menu, you can order a so-called Miche Burger, which includes a Clamato concoction with a mini tiny burger planked on top of it. If this fits your bill, you can get one at Hotel Mercurio. If it's not for you, well, it's not for you. Is it for me? Well, I'll try anything once. I think I'd rather have my burger on a plate. I'd like to have a bloody something separately. But, I've been proven wrong in the past. I also now want to get into the details of our members only December live broadcast and holiday giveaway. I want you to know that we now have 16 unique prizes for our upcoming members only giveaway. So I'm feeling very, very grateful to all the local businesses that have joined in and continue to join in. I'm going to continue to knock on doors between now and this coming December 15th, which is when we're going to have the live broadcast. Now, if you already know that you are a member and have attended past member-only live broadcasts, you know the drill. If you are thinking of becoming a member, you have until December 14 at 6 p.m. to become one and participate on this giveaway. Please stick around, as now we'll look at the different prices that we've accumulated to date. I'll briefly explain what membership is all about and answer any questions you may have about Coffee and Headlines membership, whether it's monthly or annually. On the other hand, if you have already decided that the content and connections provided by yours truly and Luna here at Coffee and Headlines 6 days a week at 10:30 in the morning, plus the occasional walking tours and interviews, are not worth supporting financially, then this is probably a good time for you to mosey on with the rest of your day, as the rest of the broadcast will be pretty useless to you, and you may even be offended by a comment or two. No big deal. So, if that fits your bill, this is a good time to say thank you for watching. For the rest of you, I want to share with you all the different prices that you are going to be eligible to if you watch our live members only broadcast a week from today. For starters, I want to show you that Villa Lola is in. This would be Logan's doing. In fact, Logan was the second person that came to me and said, we want to play. Villa Lola is offering a free breakfast and pool day with a bottle of red or white wine at the rooftop plunge pool for 2 adults. Yay. The first one that I appealed to was, of course, our friend Eric at Joint Co-working Hotel, who is offering a choice of 1 hour private office space, 1 day of hot desk co-working membership, or a 200 peso discount on a one-on-one massage. Paul at Hotel Mercurio is offering lunch or dinner for 2, any menu item plus a beverage of choice. Our dear friend Cassandra from her beautiful jewelry shop on Basilio Vadillo is offering a 500 peso gift certificate. Our friend Todd, that features more television channels than God, is offering a 1 Amazon Fire Stick 4K with a 1-month live subscription program by him, and this has a 2,100 peso value. Our friend Psychic Kennedy Morgan is offering a 2.5 private group session for up to 10 people worth $500, 500 US. Our new friend Charlie from Let's Pho PV, the new Vietnamese restaurant, is offering the dinner for 2 main entrees, 1 per person. Our dear, dear friend and supporter Michael from Bravos in Siam is offering a 500 peso gift certificate for you to enjoy at either one of the restaurants. Our dear friend Bill from Artisan Bakery is offering a 400 peso gift certificate to his wonderful bakery. Sean from Mama Caguamas reached out to me, and he's offering lunch or dinner for 2, any menu item plus a beer or margarita of choice at his wonderful beer and tacos restaurant, Mama Caguamas. Then our friends Kathleen and Todd are offering not 1, not 2, but 3 separate 100 peso gift certificates so that you can get some free ice cream at any of their locations. Whiskey Kitchen is on board. Thank you, Gina. We just have to figure out exactly what Whiskey Kitchen is going to offer. The same thing happens with Christoph and Carlos at the Secret Wine Bar. They're going to be offering something as well. We're just waiting to confirm exactly what it's going to be. My friend Ibis of Aroma Vive, the wonderful natural soap store that we visited the other day in Plaza Caracol. She's also going to be offering a little something. We just haven't figured out exactly what. All of these perks have something in common. They all expire on June 1st, 2023. So let me first, before I tell you how it's going to work out, let me tell you why this came about. For better or worse, every time somebody has something to say about my content and my choices of content, for better or worse, the first thing that I do is I check whether they are supporting members or not. Why do I do that? Well, because believe it or not, and this is just a friendly reminder, Coffee and Headlines is a full-time job. Because this is where I get my salary, or at least 98% of it or thereabouts. And 2, it's full-time. You're here only for half an hour, maybe 40 minutes in the morning. But for me, it takes up to 3 hours a day to come up with programming for the half an hour, not to mention that it takes money out of my budget to go out and dine out whenever I do a restaurant review. It takes time from my schedule whenever I go out to do a walking tour. And I'm happy to do this. I'm not complaining, but I do need to remind you of that from time to time. And if somebody um, has an issue with it, like somebody had an issue with it yesterday or the day before, when I gently reminded her that, maybe you haven't contributed because it was an omission. And then somebody said, well, money talks. It was not a well received comment. And I said something that somebody said to me, I think it was, well, I forget the name, but somebody said money talks. Well, guess what? Money does talk. Please kindly remember that everything that happens here happens because of your contributions. If I was not making money through Coffee and Headlines would not exist. And that is not something good or bad. It's just a fact. And don't think for a second that I make a lot of money. It's not a lot of money that comes in. Those of you that are members have sat through members only meetings and you've seen the numbers. I've shown you. So don't think for a second that I'm going to die rich. Okay. With that put aside, and because I thank those of you that are still here, because you're probably already members, let me tell you how this goes. And in case you have not ever attended a live broadcast before, the way they go about is as follows. I announce it and send an email message to the members with a login instruction message. And you can join the broadcast in one of two ways. You can watch, as we always do, or you can join me live and we can chat together for a little while so that the rest of us can get to know you. We usually have about 5 or 6 people that join in, and I briefly ask you, where do you live? What do you do? How did you find us? That kind of thing. Yes, Claude, I will die with tons of love, and I appreciate that. I wish I could use tons of love to pay my rent. It doesn't work that way. The love is great, but I still have to pay my bills. Back to the instructions. Something else that we're able to do during the live broadcasts is to do giveaways. And the way it's going to work, let me take one of the perks, for example. I'm going to, during the live broadcast, announce each and every one of the perks. And I'm going to say this is a 500 peso gift certificate for either restaurant. If you are interested in this particular perk or giveaway during the live broadcast that we're going to have for members only, you will be expected to write a comment with a single word that I will give you at the time. So once, and you can only do it once. If you do it more than once, it doesn't change the outcome. You will be able to participate in that draw. There is a mechanism in the software that I use for the broadcast that allows it to randomly pick a comment with the keyword, and that's how the prizes get awarded. Can you write the same keyword many times? Yes, but it won't make a difference. Can you participate in all the giveaways? Absolutely. But it would make sense that you will want to participate only for the giveaways that you would actually enjoy winning. If you are in Wisconsin or you are in Berlin or wherever you are, and you want to gift the perk to somebody else, well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give to you the same graphic that we used here with your name on it if you won this particular prize. And I'm going to give the business owner the same graphic so that he knows who he's dealing with. If you and the owner want to change dates or details or whatever, then that is entirely between you and the owner. Last but not least, looking at the number of prizes that we have and looking at the number of people that usually join in on the live broadcast, there is a great chance that everybody will win something. Last but not least, or many people will win something. Last but not least, and I'll get off this little mini pseudo ranting stool I've stepped on. I love doing Coffee and Headlines, but you can't begin to imagine the amount of work it takes doing Coffee and Headlines. So for those of you that have already become members, shared coffees, or otherwise partnered with me in this adventure, I always want to make sure that I give to you something special. And I certainly hope we have been doing this. The whole idea of doing a holiday giveaway happened in the last 24 hours or 36. It happened because of what happened 2 days ago. So let there be no doubt that this holiday giveaway is my attempt to give those of you who have trusted me with your support a little thank you back. With that said, let us take a look at any questions you may have. And I found the background music again, and that is a good thing. Your comments as follows. There's good mornings here, there, and everywhere, and I love that very much. Claude, I am missing you. I know that you've been sequestered at home while the construction crew is fixing or building your new wall. I hope you guys can come out and play sometime in the near future because I miss you. Let's see here. Oh my God, Pat, did you see our photo that I shared with the cluster yesterday? It is so funny. It is so funny. Let's see what else we have. Bill is here. Again, Bill, thank you for partnering with me in providing a little perk. We appreciate it. It will make a lot of noise on your behalf and on behalf of all the wonderful businesses that have shared a perk for this holiday, this new holiday tradition that we're going to maintain here at Coffee and Headlines. Let's see. Do. 3 more days, says David Gregory. Let's see what else we have. Let's see what else we have. Yes, Sherry, that guardrail is awful, and the only reason we point it out is because it seems like the city needs that kind of pressure to fix things, so we're happy to help the initiative of pressuring the city. La Aviadora can be a very close friend of the boss. Oh, you never know. You never know. Artisan Bakery says, pesos por favor. There you have it. This is a foreign business owner making business in Mexico. Michael Buford says, pesos or credit cards are always better. Thank you very much for that, Michael. You can open an account in dollars in ActiveNair, but I don't know what are the conditions. Thank you for that knowledge, Angelica, but I'm going to cut to the chase. You know, this is Mexico, and you know it. You are Mexican. You live in Canada, but you are from here. If you come here, spend pesos. Don't open, we shouldn't have to open a bank account in US dollars because some of you come down here and spend 3 days, a week, or 6 months here and choose to pay in dollars. We shouldn't have to do that. Use an ATM and pull out pesos. It's just so simple. This is a great solution for anyone that is in town. You throw in your credit card or your debit card from the United States or Canada, and it'll give you back pesos, plain and simple. If you don't know if your credit card or ATM card is going to do that, then you contact your bank before you come here on vacation. Not a big deal. Pat says, pesos in Mexico. Thank you for addressing this. Thank you, Pat. Let's see. I think the point you are trying to make is that you should not adapt to the country that you're visiting. You shouldn't. Okay, I'm reading this as the point that I'm making, and yes, that is the point that I'm making. It's like when in Rome, do as the Romans do. That's what I'm trying to say. Kelly says, I've gotten into more heated discussions with people about paying in local currency. I always pay in pesos. You must have gotten in heated conversations, Kelly, with people that are entitled, that come from other countries. If the shoe fits, tough shit. Tómala. And I'm not saying you, Kelly, but your friends. Joe says, I ask if they would accept pesos in the US. I often get a dazed look. Well, yeah, I tell you. The money issue would be perfect for the lizard fart gag. Oh my God. Yes, get better with that. And where is the lizard fart? Since you invoked her, have a farting lizard. There you go. What the fuck? Harold says Costco, Walmart, etc. bank accounts in Mexico probably include benefits from the bank, like money exchange services not available to their average bank customers. Yes, because they're big companies, not like so many of the small businesses that tourists cater to while they're here in Mexico. Susan, you are so kind, but why should restaurants locally, give me a good reason why restaurants locally should go through additional trouble for this? You know, because even having to add these extra fees need to be accounted for by the Mexican government whenever a restaurant or a business needs to file taxes and stuff like that. So give me a good reason why restaurants or shops should have to do extra work for tourists in Mexico, and I will gladly listen. U.S. U.S. dollars are protection against the devaluation of the Mexican peso, which has happened many times in the past. Some Mexicans like dollars as insurance against this. Some Mexicans, Brad, and that is the issue. And I mean, respectfully, this is not the past. This is now. And I stick to the bottom line. Whenever you pay with dollars, you're creating extra work and extra effort for the person that you're paying to. So this idea of the devaluation and the protection and the insurance and this, that, and the other is totally, totally overblown. I don't think it's real. Let's see what else we have. Question from Kelly. Is the new Indian restaurant at the El Babel Bar location open yet? I heard through the grapevine that they have opened, but they open only from 6 o'clock in the afternoon on. So if you've been looking for it during the market, it is not there. I don't even know what it's called, and I don't even know what the deal is. Parenthetically, I was walking around around Versalles, and you may recall that a few months ago we reported a new restaurant opening right next to Comedor Versalles, and I got excited at the time. But yesterday, when I walked right past it, it had a big sign saying, well, soon we're going to be opening, and you can come and sample our menu, and it's going to cost this much. And the whole sign, the whole thing was written in English. And I thought to myself, oh dear, here they come. English-speaking owners of businesses that think they should only advertise in English. I don't think this is going to be a restaurant for me personally. Or restaurant, if you're listening, just get a fucking translator and offer the menu in Spanish. This is Mexico. We are Mexicans. We want to consume. Ay. Let's see. New Indian restaurant has opened. The restaurant is called Rico Indian. The food is good. They are on Facebook. There you have it. Mark chimes in on Paco, the Indian chef. He will deliver a couple of times a week. This is good to know. It was absolutely wonderful. And speak of the devil, here is our dear friend Todd, who has more channels, television channels than God. Thank you, Todd, for your generous contribution to our giveaway for members. Let's see what else we have. See, I knew Paul wrote to me yesterday about the Micha burger, and he's like, well, I don't know that the Americans and Canadians are going to get it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We talked about this a few weeks ago here at Coffee and Headlines, and everybody seemed to love them. Let's see. Luisa. Oh, Luisa. Luisa. I love Luisa and Luke. They have moved to Guadalajara, but they keep me in their life and I keep them in my heart. And they are doing great. And it is absolutely wonderful. Um, my heart is full of joy seeing all the wonderful prizes donated by all of these genuinely kind and loving people. Thanks to all of them. If that's the way you feel, Timothy, you cannot begin to imagine the amount of gratitude I feel for their support and for yours. So thank you very much in chiming in, and thank you very much for allowing me to mention these wonderful businesses by name because we should all be supporting them back. Let's see. Pat visited Secret Wine and Cocktail Bar this week. Isn't that a wonderful place, Pat? Were you flashing your rat's tattoo at everybody? I think you should. I think you should because I loved your tattoo and I will make a big face the next time I look at it again. Mark asks, will my annual membership automatically renew? This is a great question. Sometime about a year ago, Buy Me a Coffee, which is a company that I don't own. It is a service provided to many content providers like me. They changed their policies and they stopped working with PayPal. So if you joined after that, you are okay. You will renew automatically. If you joined before that, chances are that you did not renew automatically. Another way to look at it is as follows. Yesterday and the day before, I sent to members only two things. One, a reminder of the upcoming live broadcast. And two, there had been a question whether there's a Brazilian restaurant in Puerto Vallarta, and I found one. And I wrote to members only about it, which is something else that I think I'm going to start doing. I'm going to increase the amount of content that we put together to make it only members only exclusive, because ultimately it is you that pays the bill, not all the wonderful people that are not contributing. And that is the way it is. Let's see what else. Sherry says, I already warned David that 5 p.m. on the 15th, we will be watching from our hotel in PV. That is wonderful, Sherry. I look forward to seeing you. There's another question. We will be in Vallarta in January. Are you planning a members get together for January? Yes, it will be in the second half of January because somebody said, oh, we arrive after the 15th, and I figured that's my sign. So sometime between 15 and the end of the January, we will have another get together. Let's see what else. Paco, you're the producer, cameraman, data collection, production star, and so much more. If I personally don't like your content, I can choose to move on. You know, you'd think it would be that simple for some people, Chris, but some people seem to think that they can have an opinion. Yes, I sometimes do surveys and things like that to gauge where you're at, but you are correct. Ultimately, for better or worse, the decisions taken here are mine. And this sounds horrible when I say it, but it is the very raw truth. Like many businesses in town, we work for your support, not for your approval. If you don't approve of a business, go to a different one. Don't try to change the business just because you don't approve it. Let's see what else. Let's see. Best USD to peso story. Best reason to pay in pesos. I went for a massage while visiting friends in Nuevo. Spanish language sign was 600 pesos. Sign in English for same service, 60 US, almost 1,200 pesos. Well, yeah, there you have it. Let's see. Question, you probably already said, but how are we notified of members only broadcasts? Through your email. You get an email that is sent by Buy Me a Coffee automatically. So check your spam folder. Again, you should have received 2 email messages. in the same email with which you became a member. If you changed emails or you did not get 2 messages in the last couple of days, or were not otherwise notified in any way, do let me know, Terry, because if you are a paying member, you should have gotten 2 notifications in the last couple of days, and a couple of other things throughout the last few weeks. Let's see what else. Question: our daughter in San Diego joined because she finds Paco so delightful, and wait till the cluster members hear what Den and Kathy's daughter had to say to me when I asked. I'm going to tell that story. I think tomorrow is a good day for that story. So tomorrow we will be talking about political correctness as it relates to people that are differently gifted than we are. And I'm talking about terms that we sometimes use, like handicapped or challenged or on the spectrum and things like that. Are these terms politically correct? Are they offensive? I got it from a specialist in autism. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. And thank you to your daughter, Den, for joining as a member. I appreciate that very much. Da 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 da. Once, a long time ago, somebody asked her for the bill to be in English. Well, cosita, what can I say? Oh, dear. Pues, pesos in Spanish, absolutely. Absolutely. Brad, the advantage of US dollars is to you, not to Mexicans. Again, this is not 1982. This is 2022. It's Mexico. We speak Spanish. We use pesos. End of discussion. Let's see what else. How do we find out if it's time to renew? The best way to find out is if you did not get the 2 email messages that I sent you in the last couple of days, then chances are you were caught in the Buy Me a Coffee snafu with PayPal, and that would be a time to renew. Or Ricky, after the broadcast, if you send me a private message, I'll be happy to look into your membership and make sure that it is in good order. And I think, Brad Bradley's Canadian. Well, whatever. This is still Mexico. This is still a place where we speak Spanish and our currency is pesos. Tómala. Thank you for joining me today and every other day. I'll see you again tomorrow.